Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You are joining us for the e-commerce crash course, and this course today is a webinar being presented in partnership with the Gail and Bill Cook Center for Entrepreneurship at Ivy Tech Bloomington, the Indiana Small Business Development Center, and Radius Indiana. So we'll start out today with doing some introductions, and then we'll get started into the webinar. My name is Keely Stingle. I'm the Vice President of Talent Attraction and Retention for Radius Indiana. And Radius is a regional economic development group that is based out of Bedford. We cover 8 rural communities, 8 rural counties, and work with LEDOs and other community leaders in moving their communities forward and helping them with economic development, as well as small business needs and workforce development. We also have Jack Dreesen. He's going to be our production manager, and Troy Phelps with the Gail and Bill Cook Center, and then Courtney Chipple with Indiana Small Business Development Center out of West Central. So with that, I'll pass it over to Jack. He can say a couple words and let the rest of the team introduce themselves.
Thank you very much, Keely. My name is Jack Dreesen. I am the coordinator for the Gail and Bill Cook Center for Entrepreneurship at Ivy Tech Bloomington. And like Keely said, I'm the production manager for this webinar today. I let everybody in, and right now the settings are that everyone is muted. So if we do want some interaction today, but we want to ask everybody to interact through the chat channel. If you have a question, and we encourage you to ask questions, ask it in the chat channel, and I will direct the question towards Courtney. And if you really want to interact with Courtney, just let me know and I will turn your mic on. Aside from that, I think that's all the housekeeping we have. Please enjoy this presentation, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce Troy Phelps. Troy.
Thanks, Jack. Hi, everybody. I'm Troy Phelps. I'm the Assistant Director for the Gail and Bill Cook Center for Entrepreneurship. As Keely mentioned, we are part of Ivy Tech Community College Bloomington and the host of the Indiana Small Business Development Center South Central, which covers the 14 counties, including Radius. We are happy to be a sponsor of this video today. As you'll learn as we go on, we partner with the Indiana SBDC and Radius to offer a variety of services and resources for small businesses throughout the region and the state. I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker today. She is Courtney Ritchie Chipple. She is the Regional Director for the Indiana Small Business Development Center out of West Central in Terre Haute. They're hosted by Indiana State University. I've had the pleasure of working with Courtney for several years, and she is a phenomenal speaker on this topic. And Courtney, thank you for taking time out of your day today to spend an hour with us teaching us about this topic. With that, Courtney, I'll toss it to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm always thrilled to help small businesses in our area grow. And if you have not worked with the Small Business Development Center in your region, we are in Terre Haute, but most of those on the call today are out of the Bloomington region. And I know Terry Brown is on the call today. She's the business advisor in that area, but we all work together collectively. So if you've not worked with their center, this might be a great time to reach out and become a client. Terry can help you tremendously. And if ever you want to talk one-on-one about this topic, I'm always happy to help businesses in the region as well. So the Small Business Development Center, we do offer one-on-one, no-cost advising. Typically it's in the best of times when people are wanting to start a business or grow a business, but also in times like these when we're kind of in recovery and relief efforts. So that's really what this presentation today is on. We've designed it to talk more about how you could quickly sell online. What we're going to talk about today is not necessarily the practices that I would be suggesting if we were sitting here on a normal non-quarantine day. So what we're looking at is specifically right now under these circumstances? How could you potentially alter your business model to still be garnering sales? With that in mind, though, we do help clients all the time create full-blown e-commerce platforms. So if you have questions that are a little more advanced than what we have developed this presentation for, we can absolutely help you with that. And that's what Jack was talking about in the chat section. Feel free, if there's anything that I do not cover in this presentation, we want to make sure it's worth your time. So put that in the chat, and more than likely we can still answer those questions for you towards the end of the presentation. If we need to stay on the line and answer very specific questions, we absolutely can. And then again, remember that the Small Business Development Center helps on all aspects of business planning, business growth, and strategy. So at any point in time, either now in recovery efforts or later on when you're trying to grow your business and you want assistance, I think the Small Business Development Center is absolutely the person you need in your corner, as we are the one person that's completely unbiased in your entire business journey. We're not your accountant, we're not your marketer. So we really can look at your business in a 360 view and just offer our honest opinions. And it's really great sometimes just to have somebody you feel like you can run those things by. So please, if you're not a client already, reach out to myself or Terry, and we would be happy to work with you. All right, that being said, we're here to talk about e-commerce and how we can sell online. So I forgot to show everybody our pretty pictures. These are probably better. These were before quarantine. Now you're seeing us during quarantine. All right, so the first thing that you need to be thinking about right now, if you are trying to figure out how do you, well, if you have a storefront, or even if you don't have a storefront, but you delivered a service and now you're not able to because of the quarantine and being on kind of a lockdown, if you will, the first thing you really need to step back and think about is your customer. You're feeling stressed, they're feeling stressed. We are all in just something we've never experienced before, right? So what are their current needs? Probably all of you have done some type of customer analysis, customer segmentation when you have been marketing your business in the past. You almost have to do that again. The customer you had back in February is not really the customer you have now. It might be the same target market, but their needs are different. Their buying behavior is different. How they make their buying decisions are different. You might be in a customer base that is more prone to be unemployed. If your primary customer is more of like a service industry worker or a restaurant industry worker, they're probably unemployed. They might be unemployed right now, and they might be making their decisions more on a cost basis. You know, they're trying to be really smart with their money right now during this time. But if you have customers that are in a segment where their jobs are fairly secure, so maybe they're not looking at making their decisions right now based on cost, but more convenience and on a self-care basis. You know, they're stuck at home and they're wanting to find things to do for their kids or for their family. They're making those decisions and they're thinking through that differently. So you need to really stop, look at your customer base and see how can you help them now. Secondly, you might want to look and see, are there new customers? Are there customers that weren't really my target before, but because of what's going on, this has opened up a new customer base for us. So that's the first step, really thinking that through. Then thinking through what services or products of my business should I be offering? Because I do not think that, more than likely, depending on what you offer, and we asked for you to say what business you were in, and it was just all across the board of who was planning on joining the call of the type of business. But more than likely, if you're a business that has, if you were a retail business, say a storefront, and you had a gift store, I do not think that you have the time, or does it make sense for you to try and figure out how you can take all of your inventory that you had in your storefront and put that out there for people to buy. You don't have the time to do that. It's too stressful to do that, especially when your customer base probably doesn't need to see the 500 different items you have in inventory. So it's really important that you stop and you look at what you have to offer and decide, what do you even want to offer online? What makes sense? What has the most chance of being successful being sold online during the current conditions? So don't be looking at trying to go online as, how do I absolutely replicate my business in an online fashion. Because that's where I think you'll get kind of that mental block and like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do this. I'm just going to step back and wait till everything opens back up. Doesn't have to be like that. You can look at just a couple of products or one service that you can then plan to offer that online. So once you've done that, once you've looked at who your customers are now, are there new customers you can go after, and then determine what do I even want to offer as a product or service. And what I'm seeing, and this is just kind of anecdotal when I was thinking about myself and my buying habits, what people are really looking for right now and are purchasing online are things with self-care. So again, a lot of, especially if your demographic is women, we're stuck at home. We don't have nail salons. We don't have hair salons. So pretty much anything right now, if you put it out to me that I felt like would make me feel more, more like my normal self, I'm probably going to buy it. People are also stuck at home. I don't mean to say stuck. My kids would probably kick me, but we're at home with our kids in a whole different way. We're trying to teach them, trying to keep them busy. So any type of like kid activities that might be fun to do as a family or to keep them occupied while we're trying to do Zoom calls with our regular jobs. Those are things that people are looking to purchase. Also, special ways to celebrate. So this has probably been the one thing about quarantine that I've really enjoyed too, is just kind of seeing, we've been now 6-8 weeks really in this format. And people are starting to have, birthdays, Mother's Day is about to come up. At first it was a little daunting, like, man, somebody's birthday during quarantine. But I've been on birthday parades. I've had birthday meetings in the park. We actually did a thing, me and one of my friends, we felt disconnected from our friend group and we missed them. So we coordinated a time to go to all of our friends' houses and leave them gifts on their doorstep. I had one of my daughters, she's in 3rd grade. She met one of her friends' moms messaged, hey, go out and look on your porch. They'd put together activity kits and went and took them to their friends. Those are things we would never do if we weren't in quarantine, but people are starting. We do miss that interaction. We know our friends and family feel the same way. So we are looking for fun and creative ways to reach out and show people that we care about them. So if you have any type of a business that you have something like that, you have a way that you could put together kits that people could buy and you could either deliver on their behalf or they could pick up and deliver, that are more like, I'm thinking of you kits, or a date night because anniversaries are coming up, and anything like that that's more creative and out of the box. We're looking for that. We're desiring that. We haven't been able to go out to dinner with our significant other. So if you put together something that's more of an outdoor, have a picnic outside kit, you probably have people that'll be interested in that, because we're looking for anything we can do in that capacity. Also, any and all things food. I didn't see on the sign-up list anybody in the restaurant industry, but if you are, or if you have anything to do with food, people are, we're tired of cooking. So I've seen some of our restaurants here locally do some really creative things with food, as far as like either family meals or take and bake kits. There's a pizza place in Illinois that's really close to us that is known for their pizza. People drive around for it. So they've never done frozen pizza before, but they were like, hey, people are stuck at home, started doing frozen pizza. And now they've even invested in like a frozen pizza case because it was going so well. And more than likely they'll end up, even after this is all over, keeping that as part of their business model. So this could actually open up things for your business that you've just never thought of before.